Hey, good morning. It's Mike Shunke, Berkshire Hathaway Homes and Shipton Properties, on our way to Paradise Valley again, second Friday. We're going to talk about residential, we're going to talk about commercial, we're going to talk about the economy, but we're going to start with the economy because that's kind of what my week's been. You know, most of what I do is not sexy. It's not pretty, a lot of valuations and making phone calls, but I've gotten a lot of phone calls this week on the economy, just because I was surprised myself. I've spent more of my adult life in the financial markets world than on the retail real estate side. So I've got a lot of clients, friends, family, a lot of people call me and ask me about the market. So that's kind of what I've been doing all week, and checking in on clients too, just getting a feel what's their comfort level. Most are pretty good. Most of our clients are pretty educated, pretty smart. It reminds me, I used to early in my Chicago in the interest rate swaps career, we'd have to call clients on Friday and give them their P&L, and everybody was afraid to call H. Wayne Huizinga. And I don't know if I was just cocky or stupid or not, but I was like, yeah, I'll call him. So we built a relationship, and he was the coolest guy ever. He started AutoNation, Blockbuster, which didn't turn out so well, but he was a super cool guy. But anyway, I'm not afraid to talk to everybody. Just stick to the facts. And that's a lot of what we're seeing in this market. You know, the media really wants to play up this doom and gloom, but the economy's pretty good. You know, we had a cooler CPI, Consumer Price Index, this morning. We had a really, really good Producer Price Index. That's the wholesale number this morning. Initial jobless claims were good. The economy is still, the numbers for the economy are good, and they're moving. Now, you know, there's a lot of volatility. The professionals make a lot of money when there's volatility. I always call the stock market the casino. The stock market is not the economy. We're actually, if you look back a year ago, that's exactly where we are. So, you know, just stay calm. There's nothing really worry about. You know, Larry Fink was on CNBC this morning of BlackRock, and he said, yeah, I'm a little petrified in the short term, but I'm extremely optimistic in the long term. And what did the headlines see in the past half hour? Larry Fink is petrified. Well, they forgot the second part of that. He's extremely optimistic in the long term. And, you know, that's like real estate. Real estate is long term. And, you know, there's just a lot of uncertainty out there. Somebody is selling bonds. We don't know who it is. I don't think it's China, just because we had a 10-year bond auction on Wednesday and a 30-year bond auction yesterday that were really good. And remember, bond price goes up, rates go down. Bond prices go down when people are selling, and rates go up. So somebody's selling. And I think somebody was just over leveraged and got on the wrong side of a trade, and they're unloading. You know, you and I don't move markets. These are large hedge funds. And I think finally the real estate community is realizing it's not the Fed funds rate. The Fed funds rate is a short-term overnight bank lending rate. We're more concerned with the 10-year, the 30-year, the overall economy and the big numbers. Real estate is slow moving, you know, and you just don't check your stock portfolio every day. It'll come back. In fact, Rick Santelli pointed out the 10-year this morning, what was it, about 4.52%? Well, January, we were at 4.74 on January 14th on the 10-year. That was just a couple months ago. So this doom and gloom and this everybody's hair on fire, it's really, I think it's media related, and it's bigger picture stuff. You and I don't matter. Remember, real estate is your primary residence and is a consumable good. Well, that's a really pretty GT3 next to us. I'm tempted to show you, but then I'll screw up my phone. But anyway, residential, you know, Scottsdale, we deal in the luxury. We deal in all price ranges, but Scottsdale luxury market. What affects the luxury market? It's the weather. People want to be here now, they can. Luxury market leaves for the summer. So that's going to be interesting over the summer because the luxury market's been busy. Accepted contracts over $1 million is up. Under contract over $1 million. This isn't Lincoln, is it? Did I miss Lincoln?
I think I missed Lincoln. I'm sorry.
Okay. My navigator missed here, but we're all good.
I was watching you.
And this GT3, you got to see it. It's beautiful.
Oh,
All right, we're gonna take a little bit longer. That's a pretty car. Anyway,
My bad.
just driving around Scottsdale. So now we got to get over this way. Hey, residential, you know, the luxury market's busy, and I'm really good. Not afraid to say I'm really good at pricing. It's, you know, like that auction house we were talking about, I was spot on that price. And still have that gap, sellers and buyers. Sellers, but, you know, you'll see overall there's a buyer's market, slight buyer's market across the valley. And you'll see that in the news that we're in a buyer's market. But it's not because demand has decreased. Demand is actually higher than it was last year. It's because supply has increased faster than demand for housing all across the board. You still have the Scottsdale, the Cave Creek, the Paradise Valley. They're still all in slight seller's market. In fact, Apache Junction is hot out by the Superstitions. I love it out there. If it wasn't an hour further from our girls in California, I would go that way. So, but anyway, with just each, you really, especially now, every market's moving a little bit different, and I really don't know where I'm going here. We missed a turn. So I'm gonna go left and take a right.
Yeah.
So we're by Fashion Square.
Yeah.
And anyway, actually, you want to know a fun fact while we're off topic? Arizona has the best layout of streets. You start at Central Avenue. Streets are to the east, avenues are to the west. About 10 streets, 10 avenues. That's about a mile. So if you ever get an address, you want to know where you're going, you can always look at the address. You know, streets are to the east, avenues are to the west, and that's completely off topic, but that's why we do these live. You know, we want to be real, get to know you, you get to know us, and you know, like I said, a lot of what we do isn't sexy, and these aren't always so pretty, but it is what it is. So yeah, we're rolling along in the residential market, and let's see, commercial market. A lot of valuations this week. You know what? We're looking for we need land. This week we had a couple people. Not afraid, looking for land to build spec homes. Been pricing out back to why own your building as a small business, because you have a sellable asset, and that becomes kind of your bank. We got an offer, not an offer, we had a discussion this week. Somebody wants to buy that parking lot for Ammo AZ. Well, he paid $5 something for the building, and now they want to give him $700,000 for a half an acre of the parking lot. That seems like a pretty good deal. So, you know, own your building. It really makes sense. SBA 504 loans. What did I see? 6.3% yesterday. 10% down. 25-year loan. And they even have, I don't know the details, so I hesitate to say, but I think they have a $5 million working capital for your business on that loan as well. So if you have questions, give us a shout. But, you know, real estate's slow moving. In fact, the commercial real estate number of transactions is up 30% over last year, and prices are up 5%, and that's kind of all across the board. Every asset class moves a little different. Small shopping centers are hot now. You know, just the mom and pop things. The baby boomers were smart, and they bought a lot of commercial property, and now they're ready to get out of it if they don't want to pass it on to their kids. So, what's this stuff called again? It's good.
Super Beats.
Super Beats. Good stuff. I just dissolve it in water. Anyway, it's been busy. We've kind of been scattered all over the week. I know I haven't posted much. You guys don't like the commercial stuff. You like the pretty houses, and that's what we're going to see today. So we'll post some of that later. But my navigator is keeping on top of me here. And yeah, you know, just give us a call. When you're buying or selling real estate, which is the largest asset that most of you own, you want to build your team. You want a knowledgeable realtor that can get you to the closing table on the buy or sell side. You want a great lender, although lots cash these days. A great title company. You want knowledgeable people. I read a quote, a note that surprised me. 94% of licensed realtors across the country have never sold a property. So you can look at them online. They look the same as me, but they're not. So just do your homework. Know who you're working with. Work with an honest, knowledgeable real estate professional that you can trust. And if you have any questions, give us a call. Again, my job's to take the emotion out of the deal, get you where you need to be. So the more we communicate, the better job I can do. And let's just go get it done. So anyway, have a great day. Be smart, be safe, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it.